So I got this rental trailer back again. I'm doing some more work on it. I've done previous work on this in one of my videos. I didn't really film the work, but I filmed what I did to it. Well, it's back again. Somebody broke it. I did work on it a second time, but I didn't film that. One of my welds broke, and this piece here fell off. So I welded that really good, and then it hasn't come off. It doesn't look like. So that's good. The reason why it's here today is the tailgate again. It's actually the same thing that happened the first time I worked on it. These little hinge pieces here, one of them fell off. This is the one that I worked on. It looks like kind of a porous weld. So that's actually one of the first times I've got something back that one of my welds failed on. It's happened a few times, but not very often. Then this one here started to crack. I believe I welded that before as well. But I also welded quite a few other spots on this trailer that are holding up, like over here in this corner. So some of it's holding, some of it's not. If this was steel, I would, just fix that for free. But with this being an aluminum rental trailer, it's probably broken because it gets abused, not because my weld sucked, even though it is a little bit porous. I also fixed this thing here too, and that's holding up just fine. Although it looks like water may be stuck in here and freezing in the winter. I don't know. This tube is bowed. The water would come out through this gap, I believe, if the tailgate was down, but I don't think many people use this in the winter. So all the water would come down here, freeze, and then push out. Maybe, I don't know. Or it's just like that for some other reason. These aluminum trailers, I mean, I put that on brand new a few months ago, and it's already starting to bow out. I don't think I did this side. I think this one was good when I worked on it last, but now both these are starting to tear just from this pin. So I don't know. I don't know if they have new ones or not, but I don't know. We'll see. And then I did notice that a lot of the factory welds, like down here, this one's actually one of the better ones. But if I zoom this camera in, you can see it's starting to crack right there. I'm moving down to one of these other ones here. Here's another one all the way at the front. Zoom the camera in and let it focus. You can see that's cracked as well. These are from the factory, not something any repair guy did. And I think it's one of these fender wells. Maybe not. But one of these fenders I think is coming off as well. Maybe it's this one. Maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to get the camera to focus on it though. But there's definitely a lot of cracks in this trailer. I'm gonna be going ahead and putting that hinge on, fixing the other weld that I did over there, and then possibly I might grind out some of these cracks and weld them. We'll see. Normally I would just MIG weld all these, but I have a TIG welder now, so I'm going to try to TIG weld it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this tailgate off, throw it inside here, and get to welding. Alright, so the first thing I need to do, I'm going to measure where these things sit. I think the last time I just took the bolt off and then I tacked it into place here. But this time I'm going to take the whole thing off. I'm just going to measure where it went. That way when I grind it up, I can just put it back in the same place. So we're at 20.5 centimeters. Here. This one is directly over the center thing here. And I'm just going to measure this one. If I have to cut it, it's 20 centimeters. So now I know the distance between them, or the distance these are set. I'm going to go ahead and pull this tailgate off. Didn't plan that. Luckily that wasn't heavier, that would have ended up on my leg. Did not plan that very well. Luckily didn't get hurt or nothing. Alright, so I got the tailgate off, turned in here, flipped upside down, so you guys can see a little bit better what we're doing here. This is where that other hinge broke off at. They gave me these new ones here. Pretty much I got to grind all that off and then just put a new one in right there. Fairly straightforward. This one here, I actually have two of these, so I could cut this one off and put a brand new one on if I wanted to, or I could just clean up this weld and then just re-weld that thing back on there. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. This one here, I think I might have welded parts of this as well. It seems to be holding up, so I might leave this one alone. And it's not the best looking welds, but I mean it's holding so far. I think this tailgate is twisted. You can actually see it in the camera there, which I think contributes to why we keep having issues on that over there. As well as I don't know if the camera will pick this up. The whole trailer frame is actually twisted. This corner sinks down low. This corner sinks low, and then these two are raised up. So it's got some funkiness going on there. I mean, you can see just from the line in the concrete there. I'll try to zoom in a little bit. But you can see how there's a really big gap on the left side, and then the gap gets smaller on the left side. Like this whole trailer is bowed, so I don't think that has any helping hand in keeping these attached. So that's probably one of the reasons why they keep breaking. That and the tailgate's twisted. So without further ado, I'm going to get this camera set up and get going on this. Alright, so to clean this up, I have a flap wheel, a 36 grit flap wheel. It should be good for aluminum. It says you can do it on aluminum. So, yeah, I'm going to clean that up, get the old weld off of there. Then I got my wire brush. I don't know if this is doing anything extra. I'm going to go ahead and wire brush all that.
See where this thing used to be, just because of the old drawing marks. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt to clamp that right
there. Kind of have that old support in my way, so it may not clamp perfectly. Actually, I got a better idea to get that clamped up. I'm going to grab something like this and then just clamp it like that. There we go. Got some improvised clamping action there. We're going to measure that, make sure it's in the right spot. Must have measured that to part of the weld. It's about 1/2 centimeter off, but I think we're okay. So now it's time to get welding on this thing. I'm just going to tack it into place, then get that clamp out of my way. I'm going to make sure this thing has gas flowing through it. Should be okay. There's a lot of soot in there for some reason. I don't know, this thing was just working pretty good. I don't know if that's the acetone or what that is. I'm going to go ahead and clean up my tungsten. Alright, so cleaned up the tungsten. I wire brushed a little bit more. I'm going to be using the other end of this filler wire, not the end that I just dirtied up. Let's see what I can do on this other side. I turned up my amperage a little bit as well. I'm going to check the settings here. Frequency at 120. I'm going to turn that down to 110. Then balance. I'll go up to 73 or so. And we'll see where this brings us. I think I dipped the tungsten there, so I'll go ahead and clean up that as well. I see what's going on now. I was holding the filler wire and just letting the filler wire melt. So I'm going to go ahead and get that cleaned up. Alright, got all that cleaned up again. I'm going to try this again, hopefully without dipping the tungsten. We're letting the filler wire ball up. That does seem to be a pretty strong tack weld there, so I think that should work. I'll go over here on this other side. I did the same thing. I let my filler wire overheat. It's an 1/8 inch filler wire. I probably should have a 532 just because of how many amps I'm using. I'm gonna see if I can get this right-handed here. I think I'm also eating up all the porosity that's already in the metal, but I think I got it. I'm going to make a second pass on the actual, this part. It is what happened. I was eating up all the porosity from the MIG weld. It's kind of why I think a lot of people use TIG welding for aluminum, is you can get rid of all the dirt and everything a lot easier than with the MIG welder. So I think now with that's actually a lot cleaner of a weld. It looks a lot better than the MIG weld. I'll zoom in here with the camera so you guys can see what I did on this one. Alright, so that's the first side that was facing the camera. I tried to get rid of most of the crater. Still got a little tiny bit, but I think that's the best I can get. I'm no expert TIG welder, but I think that's a lot better than my MIG welds. And then there's the other side. The reason why it's multiple passes is because there's a lot of porosity from the MIG welds. So I just ran over that and cleaned it up. So now it should be good. Should be good to go. And then also what I was saying about the water, I think there was water getting in it. That's all from inside this tube here. So it definitely got water in there. I may have to drill a relief hole so that way this tube doesn't expand and crack. But I think we're doing okay here. I'm gonna go ahead and do this other one off camera. Get this one cleaned up and fix all that mess. Alright, so I just got done welding the second thing on there. This is what that looks like. Try and zoom in, get the camera to focus. That side looks pretty good. That's the last side I welded. I mean, like I said, I'm no expert aluminum TIG welder. There's that side. I messed up a little bit there, like right there. But it's definitely a lot more solid than any MIG weld I have ever put down. Again, here's a close-up of this one. I think it will hold. I like that a lot better than the MIG welds. That's one of the old MIG welds. Which that one's still holding. But I don't know. I used to avoid TIG like the plague. But now I can see it's definitely a lot better. I was missing out on a lot of things. But I also didn't have the skill to TIG weld that great. Now I'm getting a little bit better. Still no expert, but I mean, I think that's gonna hold. This is the machine I'm using. It's kind of messy on the table right now. I just picked this machine up on Monday. It is now Sunday. I did not have a whole lot of time to get it up and going. I just set it up today actually. So I was doing a tree recently. And the only welding I have done is this, which is a scrap piece of plate I found. My first weld actually came out horrible and it cracked. I pretty much melted through. I'll flip this over so you can see I melted through. Then I started getting a little bit better, and then I finally felt like it was dialed in. And then those were the last practice welds I did before deciding that, okay, I think I can run on the actual project. So yeah, definitely a new experience for me. These machines are nice, they weld nice. The one thing I don't like about them is the layout of everything in the front. It's easier than some machines that I've tried to use, but I do like the Fronius Magic Wave a lot better than this. The reason why I have this one is I found it on Marketplace. I knew it was a quality machine, and I got it for less than half the price of a new one. So that's why I have this one sitting in front of me. It gives me the ability to do AC TIG. Before I was running a lift arc on the Fronius trans steel. I need to find a home for this place. I mean, my shop's a mess anyway, but this is kind of really inconveniencing me at the moment. I do want to get it on a cart or underneath the table with the ability to pull it out or whatever. Maybe a longer torch or whatnot. But, this machine is the 220 only, 220 volt model. I would have liked to have gotten the 110 volt, but like I said, I found this on Marketplace for less than half the price of a new one, so that's why it's here. Pretty cool. So now I'm going to drill some holes so I can get the water out of this thing, and I think that'll be that. That one seems to have been the only one with water issues, so I think we're good right there. Oh, it's just that one hole. It's not a huge hole, it's just enough to get water out of it. So now we can go ahead and put this thing back together. Whoops. Alright, so tailgate's back on. I just reused the old hardware just because I don't have any new hardware. As you can tell by the name on this thing, if new hardware is needed, I'm sure that they can find it somewhere close by. These things, I was not supplied any new ones, so for right now I just went ahead and I ground off all the sharp edges, which will probably cause it to wear out even quicker, but nobody's going to get stabbed in the meantime. And eventually all four of these are going to have to get replaced anyway. But it's a rental trailer, so I think for right now we're okay. As shown previously, no matter what you do to these things, they're still going to continue to wear out even if you replace them. So until they tell me to replace them, I think we are good. It's getting a little bit windy, if you can tell by the trees moving over there. So I don't know if I should fix the cracked welds elsewhere on this trailer. I'm leaning right now towards not fixing them, just because they're starting to crack, but I think they were starting to crack the last time I looked at it. So I think I might leave them alone, and then maybe next time when we do these, and it might be time to go ahead and grind everything out. I think that seems like the better plan. So for right now, I think we're done. I'm going to take this back to the store and then try to get paid.